Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't tells like a CIS. If you like my video, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribe. Topic I'm going to talk to you today about is Normani. Normani Corday did an interview with Ciara last month on a podcast, Level Up, and I finally got a chance to listen to it, and it was a real good interview and stuff like that. And Ciara said, uh, she said, "I've been watching you from afar. I've always liked what you do in your career and stuff." And shit like that. She said, "Not only are you a singer and a dancer, but now you're an actress, and you're doing this and you're doing that." She said, "Oh, thank you, Sierra. I've always been inspired by you ever since I was a little girl, a little girl." She said, when I looked on TV and I saw another dark skinned woman that looked like me, that acted like me, that can actually dance like me, yeah, and Sierra said, "Oh, no money, stop, no money, stop. You're gonna make me cry, you're gonna make me tear up. I don't wanna cry, I don't wanna cry. That's what I'm here to do." And then the mom said, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We're both tearing up. I just want to give you your props." And Sierra said, "I just want to give you your props too." She said, "Normani, let's move on from this love fest. Let's move on from this love fest." She said, "Okay, okay." I said, "Normani, I want to talk about your philanthropic work." She said, "You do two organizations that you like to contribute to." She said one of them is something about dark skinned girl. She said, "Oh yeah, yeah, I do something with that and my other stuff." She said, I feel fulfilled when I give back, because the Lord has blessed me with so much and stuff that I feel I have a right to give back." I say, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, no mind, you doing a good thing, you're doing a good thing." She said, "Oh yeah." And she said, she said, "I've been doing all kinds of philanthropic work and donating stuff for years, but I just finally decided to do these two." And she said, "Yeah, you do stuff too." She said, "Yeah, well, me and Russell have a donation. I mean, me and me and my husband, we also do philanthropic work and stuff like that. That's what she was saying. Her and Russell donate to certain charities and stuff like that." And then she said, "Well, you had a pretty good album, with dopamine. How'd you feel about that?" And the mom said, "Well, I was a little bit nervous about it. I was a little anxious about it." She said, "The one thing I am learning to do is not overthink too much and not be putting too much pressure on myself." And she said, "What is it's the fact that it was finally out. It was finally released. I had been through recording it, and I was going through this. I was going back in there, checking, making sure everything was right." And she said after it was released, that was a relief off of me, because the project had already been done, had already been recorded. It was just waiting to be released. She said, "Oh yeah, I understand that feeling too, no man. I know how it is when you have a project and it's your baby, and what it is, you want it to be right, you want it to be perfect, and you want the audience to like it." And she said that was a good album. I said, "Sarah, you sure was right. It wasn't so much in my mind. It was more the record label and stuff." And so Sierra kind of knew that too. And so she said, "Let's play." She said, "Let's play a game." She said, "I'm gonna ask you some. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. You can tell me." She said, "What do you think? What would you tell your younger self that you learned from?" She said, "I would tell my younger self not to stress out, not to put too much pressure on you. And I also would tell my younger self that I'm good enough, that I deserve to be here." She said, "Naman, I've been telling you that for years. I've been telling you that for years, and stuff like that. That you are the one, that you are the girl, you are supposed to be it. But I'm so glad that you are listening." She said, "I've been telling you that for years, and stuff like that." And so she said, "Is there one thing that you did as far as social media on the internet and making a tweet that you regret?" And the mom said, "Well, yeah, because I was dating one guy And this back before I got engaged. So I was dating one guy, and we had kind of broke up. And I thought I was texting the new guy, but I wound up texting the other guy, and he thought we were getting back together. And she said I had to hurry up and delete that. But and then Ciara said, well, they say nothing is never deleted online. She said, yeah, I know. And Ciara said I did something like that too. And I went and talked to my grandmother about it, and she said, "Girl, it's too late for you to cry about it now. You should have thought about it before you typed it up, before you tweeted." And she said, "Yeah, when she realized that there was stuff that you put on the internet that you really think you can't delete, but you thinking you deleting it, and you say people bring it up years later." She said, "Well, yeah, she's very careful about what she tweet and what she write online after the incident." Both Normani and what Carl said the same thing. And then and then after that, she said, "I'm so excited for you, Normani. So excited for you, Normani. You and your new project. You and new project." Normani eyes got kind of big. Then she thought she was gonna say something, and she was say, "Look, I know stuff behind the scenes. I guess somebody." And she's telling somebody in the background, "Look, I know stuff behind the scenes. I know what's going on." And she said, "Yeah." And she said, Ciara, I'm just so happy for the future and what's gonna go on for my next projects and my new projects and stuff like that." She said, "Yeah," and she said, "I'm really happy for you too, because you got a lot going on. You're doing this." And she said, "Namani, just know that I'm behind you. I'm always gonna be behind you. You're my little sister." And Normani said, "I look at you like a big sister too." And then next thing you know, she said, "That's all I have. That's all I have." Normani, we did a good thing. I'm glad you were my first guest, my first guest. I said that was a good interview, and you could tell that they really have a good sisterhood and good friendship and stuff like that. And then, like I say, fast forward to the season finale of Dancing with the Stars, and I was saying, "Huh, what?" And they were saying the most exciting performance, Jordan Chiles and Normani with the hip hop stuff, and the way they was dressed and the way they was dancing. That and both of them was in tune and in sync, and even though they had played Normani's song in the background, her first song, and then the second song was Motivation, and her child Jordan Childs first was dancing by herself, and then they had a dancing like on a little bit like stage platform. Next thing you know, they took that stage platform away, and she dropped down on the floor. Next thing you know, the mother was walking out the door, and they both started dancing. That was such a good run. I'm glad I did see the whole full clip on YouTube, because I forgot about that. Like I said, after Lauren and Glory left, I forgot about Dancing with the Stars. And so I was kind of glad she was on the season finale. And somebody had asked Laura, and they were saying, you was on Dancing with the Stars, and this is season finale. What do you think about Normani being on season finale with Jordan Child? She said Jordan Child been good. She said all the dancers was good. She said I just hate I just hate that I had to leave early. She said, but to me it was the experience. It was experience, and I still. She said, well, like it should be, like it would be. And so I said, "Oh yeah, Lauren always been in Normani's corner." So she was saying Normani should have been on the season finale, and she was also hinting that Normani should have won when she was on there. But anyway, they asked Lauren. They said, "You've been on here, you've been on here, Normani." And also Allie, he said, "What about Donna James?" She said, "I told her, Donna James, you gonna be next, blank." And so after that, she did that, and then next thing you know, that Grape Juice also did a interview about Normani. I'm going to read it to you right now. It says, Normani, Normani, Normani promises 2026. I'm going to get more. I'm going to get more from you. Oh, in 2026, you're going to get more from me. And she said this at the Femme Forward Award. Let me see if I can zoom it up a little bit. Let me see. Hmm, um, I was gonna see could I okay, there it is. It said, speaking to Fashion Bomb Daily at the fourth annual Give Her Flowers Gala, where she was bestowed with the Feminine Forward Award. The 29-year-old was quizzed about what's coming. Keeping it brief but sweet, she Carly teased, "Baby, in 2026 you're going to get more of me. That's all I can say right now." Uh, The news comes after the Wild Side singer announced she launched her own self-titled fashion line with Shein. And I was kind of upset because when I read that, I said, "Ooh, good, she in." But then some of the parents come out, "She in. That's cheap. That's old cheap stuff. That's old cheap stuff. Why she gonna go to old cheap?" And I'm looking at y'all didn't say that when Kim Kardashian did it. Y'all didn't say it when all these other influencers do it. But when Normani do it, it's a big deal. And I was saying, let Normani get these brand deals and this stuff and stuff like that. I said, I don't understand something. I said, it's just some people that are miserable and don't want this girl to do nothing right. And from the fashions that I have saw on Shein, they're real reasonable for people of her size and her generation and stuff. And stuff like that. And then later on, right after Thanksgiving, she put out a Texan T-shirt. It was white with black and red on it, and for Texas, cause she talking about she used to live in Texas. And then she had the little short shorts, and then her boyfriend, who she's engaged to, also has a football team, football background. So she's gonna be ready for that. And I really did like the fashions that I saw, and I really did like this performance with her and Jordan Chiles and stuff. I'm glad that Monty's gonna be putting out good stuff because when she did that performance, you could tell that performance was amazing. It had star quality. That's all I have for this video. This is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. I am out.